Hello everyone, Fanta here, you're watching Fantavision, and today I'm discussing a topic that nobody really talks about, and I don't think really anybody's had this take before, because people just like new things, and I think that's why this whole terminology even exists. Now, the term drought usually refers to the lack of something, like a drought in the weather, it hasn't rained in a bit, or a movie drought when there's not that many new movies in theaters that anybody really cares about. It's just all the cash in tax write-off titles that are usually there during the summer. I mean, I understand how this is applied to video games and how there's sometimes something that people refer to as a video game drought. I don't know why I put video. Anyway, I get why people say this, because there's kind of a lull in releases sometimes where there's really not that many games coming out. However, unlike movies and the weather, there's so many other games to play. Does the gaming drought really even exist? It does. It does exist in the fact that there are lulls in releases. But I don't think the drought feels the same way a movie drought does. I don't know about you guys, but when there's a drought in the movie theaters between, major releases or movies that people care about, you kind of feel it. You feel that there's something missing. There's no real reason to go to the movie theater. And any movie you watch is just kind of something you missed from a while ago. And I don't know, it feels like there is something missing and you're waiting for something. Whereas for me, when there's a video game drought, I don't know about you, but I have such a massive backlog of games that I don't really feel these droughts. I kind of go, oh, thank God. I call it a breather in between releases, because there are so many releases of games that are incredibly long or they're infinitely replayable. Think about how many games are released these days that are multiplayer or they're live service, and both of those games require all of your time. Or even if you're not going to be thinking of a live service or multiplayer game, think about how many big open world games are released these days. That's another time sink. That's another game that is going to be 50, 60 hours. And where are people finding all this time? Because I don't have it. So the fact that there are so many people that just plow through games when that's not even their job, to review games or to keep up on games. I try to keep up on games just by playing a couple hours, giving my thoughts to you guys what I feel like for the first couple hours. And then I usually go on and abandon those games because other games come out so quickly. But during these times of drought, that's where the quotations marks should have been last time, I actually have time to play things. I actually have time to catch up on a lot of different games that I did not get around to, like Pokemon. I'm going to be able to have a chance to play Pokemon pretty soon. However, I'm not going to have that long because then Animal Crossing and frickin' Doom come out the same day, which I'm getting both. Now, normally I've been actually kind of waiting because like I said, there are so many games that have such a big backlog, and with Humble Bundle and all these other giant bundles that are constantly coming out every month, I'm experiencing new games, and believe me, I'm not complaining here. I just kind of find it funny from my perspective that there are people that actually complain about the drought. And I kind of think that people should look at it in a different way. Look at it as a breather. Again, maybe people have more free time than me and they are plowing through all these games, but I'm just not, and I just don't understand it. I just don't understand that feeling of, oh, I have nothing to play. Instead, I look at my Steam library and I'm like, oh God, what in the world should I even play? And I usually just kind of go back to old favorites or things that I don't think are going to take that long. Because there are lots of games that are huge time commitments and just huge commitments overall, because you have to learn how the game is played, and it takes a while to master it or get past the tutorial part, and by the time I'm done with the tutorial part, I gotta go to bed so I can go to work the next day. Now again, these aren't issues that everybody has. Not everybody basically has two jobs. Not everybody works all the time on one project or another and is constantly busy with one thing. I talk about video games way more than I have time to play them. That's just the way it is. It's been that way for a very long time. Even when I was working at GameStop, I was talking about video games more than I was playing them. And it's the sad reality that a lot of people have, even if they're not talking about video games, if they've got a family, or if even if they don't have a family, they just have a job. And if you're working a full-time job, you're probably burnt out by the end of the day and you don't want to do all those sort of things. The point I'm trying to get to is if you are feeling like there's some sort of drought, I sincerely doubt that you have played everything that has come out for whatever console generation you're in. Now, I do understand the drought for the beginning of a console generation. The freaking Nintendo Switch had a major drought in the beginning. In my opinion, I felt that drought. I bought random games that I would never have bought if it weren't for that drought. Now, that was real. Same with the PlayStation 4 launch. When that thing came out, there was like nothing for it when it first came out. It was like a couple, like maybe one or two games were worth a damn and the rest were just crap. And that's what happens with a lot of these different systems when they first come out. That is the true drought that you definitely feel. You definitely feel, especially if you owned the previous generation of that console. However, let's say you bought a Xbox One and you never played the Xbox 360. All of a sudden, you have so many games you can experience now because of backwards compatibility. Same thing with the 360 to the Xbox original. When that system first came out, that was my first experience with an Xbox in my own house. I'd played at other people's places, and now I finally had my own Xbox and I could get Halo 2 and join everybody. And it was a huge momentous occasion, and I felt no drought with the 360. But for everybody else, I'm sure they felt that drought because there was really not a whole lot that came out for the 360 when it first launched. I mean, there was Oblivion and there were a lot of great games, but I'm trying to remember, but I believe there was a pretty big time difference between the next major release. I don't know, that one just kind of was like hit after hit after hit. But again, my memory's kind of foggy from just playing a ton of Halo 2 and having a ton of fun with Oblivion. Now, PC users, I don't think they understand what a drought is at all, because like I said with Humble Bundles and constant games that are just coming out for the PC and constant gaming deals, you're just flooded with an onslaught of games. So it's not really a feeling of drought, it's more of a feeling of flood. And this is what I have, especially when it comes to the PC. Now, I have a ton of games for everything else too, but I especially feel this with the PC because you're just kind of overwhelmed with how many games you have in your library if you've had a PC for as long as I've had. And it's kind of the same thing. Now, I said earlier I never felt like I had nothing to play, but at the same time, that's also what it kind of feels like. You look at this huge list and you're just kind of scrolling at all these games you've never played and you're like, I got nothing to play. It's like Netflix when you just get overwhelmed with choices and you just go back to Parks and Rec or The Office. You don't really feel like trying to pick anything or venture into something new because you just want something to entertain you right now. And that's kind of what happens with me a lot with the Steam. I constantly go back and I play Roller Coaster Tycoon where I try to find something that's exactly like it, like Parkitect. I go back and I play Age of Empires 2 HD Edition, and now the Definitive Edition's out, so I just play that. I just keep going back to older games because I know them. And it's like watching The Office or Parks and Rec. Instead of what it's like when a console first comes out where you have barely any choice at all, you have way too many choices with the PC. And it's kind of its own issue, and I'd love to figure out a way to branch out and have time to play all these wonderful games because there are lots of games I know I'm missing out on, but I just don't have the time. And that's why it's just so weird to me that there's always that part of the year. Now, I don't think we're in that part of the year yet. I just felt like making this video. It's so weird to me that all of these gaming outlets come out with, oh, we're in the game drought. And I'm just like, are we though? Are we in a gaming drought? I mean, I'm playing so many different multiplayer games right now, and I'm trying to catch up on all my single-player games, but whenever I try to do that, one of my friends jump on a multiplayer game and like, hey, you should come play this. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm not going to make any progress in anything. And that's another reason why I'm like, how do people beat games? I might even make a video about that. I don't know. I just felt like talking about this topic because I've thought about this for a long time, that when was there a gaming drought? I've always scratched my head at that idea because unlike movies, unlike music, and unlike a lot of other forms of entertainment, it's so long form. Video games are so long. So, I mean, the time in between releases can be longer. And the price for games is way bigger than anything else, too. You go see a movie, it's like $10. You buy a Blu-ray, if you're smart and you wait, it's $10. If you are subscribed to Netflix, what is that, $10? You get a CD, $10. Or you just have a music streaming service, and that's $10 a month. It's this smaller investment. Whereas video games are a much larger investment of time and money, which is always so shocking to me that a couple of months without a major release is considered a drought. That's just crazy to me. You're really not playing these games for more than 1 month? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. I could be wrong, though. Let me know down below in the comments if you think I'm crazy here. If you think I'm a unique case. Maybe you do experience the gaming drought. You've beaten your backlog. You've played every game out there. Because that could be it. I mean, I could be alone on this. I know I'm definitely not with my friends. I was just at my buddy Steven's house like a couple weeks ago, and I saw a stack of sealed games, and I'm right there with him, man. Thanks for watching, everyone. Like if you liked it, subscribe for more content, and as always, have a fantastic day. See you guys.